Unlike other martial arts that focus on aggressive techniques, Aikido is renowned for its emphasis on defense, harmony, and using the opponent's energy against them. What happens when an Aikido practitioner encounters the aggression and adaptability of an MMA fighter? In this video, we'll witness an exciting match between Aikido and mixed martial arts. Let's begin with the Aikido fighter from Japan, facing off against an MMA fighter who, with his intimidating expression, appears confident and formidable. However, his fighting skills didn't match his impressive physical condition. From the very start of the match, the MMA fighter was pushed to the edge of the ring, unable to escape the tight grip of the Aikido master. Eventually, he was thrown onto the canvas, and the two became engaged in a ground fight. The Aikido practitioner gave him no opportunity to recover. In the end, the MMA fighter had no choice but to tap out, unable to endure the excruciatingly painful Aikido locks any longer. Next, we have an Aikido practitioner wearing white pants. He is significantly older than his opponent, an MMA fighter, and this age gap is evident in their bout. The MMA fighter dominated the duel with his powerful strikes. It only took 30 seconds for the MMA fighter to secure victory, bringing the Aikido master down to the ground. Aikido techniques often rely on specific conditions to succeed, such as an opponent attacking in a predictable manner. In mixed martial arts combat, attacks can come from multiple directions with unpredictable speed and intensity, making certain Aikido techniques challenging to execute. For instance, take the match between this Aikido master and an MMA fighter. Throughout the fight, the Aikido master focused solely on evading the MMA fighter's powerful strikes, without ever launching a single counterattack. The MMA fighter, however, gave him a harsh lesson with a brutal slam to the ground, leaving the Aikido master in significant pain. Additionally, the rules in MMA often conflict with the principles of Aikido. Some striking techniques in Aikido are known to be extremely painful. However, in MMA fights, fighters' hands are wrapped and taped, which can limit certain techniques. Even so, fighters like Anderson Silva have trained in Aikido and attempted to incorporate its techniques in the octagon. Another fighter demonstrated that gloves are not a barrier to executing Aikido's locking techniques. He skillfully brought his opponent down with a flawlessly executed wrist joint lock. Not just once, the Aikido fighter repeatedly brought his opponent to the ground, dominating the fight with his lethal Aikido techniques. Aikido teaches locking and throwing techniques designed to control opponents without causing significant harm. In situations where control is more crucial than destruction, these techniques can be highly effective. For instance, consider a fight between an MMA fighter with a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu (BJJ) background and an Aikido practitioner. This time, the MMA fighter had a larger, more muscular physique. The two engaged in a prolonged clinch before the MMA fighter ultimately used his tremendous strength to overpower and bring the Aikido master to the ground. Overall, Aikido's philosophy of blending, circular movements, and minimal force sets it apart as a martial art focused on harmony and effective self-defense. Aikido techniques can also be adapted to various fighting scenarios, making them versatile for different types of opponents and arenas. For example, in a match between a one-armed Aikido master and a professional MMA fighter, the Aikido master demonstrated remarkable skill. Despite relying on just one arm, he managed to challenge the MMA fighter significantly, even holding his own during clinch exchanges. Remarkably, he succeeded in bringing the MMA fighter down to the floor. Not stopping there, the Aikido master maintained dominance even during the ground fight, showcasing his exceptional control and adaptability.
Yosh!
Next, let's turn to the Aikido fighter from the Netherlands, Kjeld Postma. At 23 years old, he faced 21-year-old Abdullah Nalbant, an MMA fighter from Turkey. The match began with both fighters exchanging jabs and straight punches. Soon after, Postma identified his opponent's weakness in his lower body. Taking advantage of this, he grabbed Abdullah's leg and slammed him to the ground.
Nice, that's it. Good here. Shove the leg.
The two engaged in a lengthy ground fight, with Postma relentlessly attempting to secure a lock while Abdullah struggled to escape the difficult position. In the final minutes of the first round, Abdullah managed to break free from the lock, and the fight returned to a stand-up exchange. However, Postma quickly regained control, grabbing Abdullah's leg again and forcing him back into a ground fight.
Right, yes. Yes, that's it. Now you get him down again.
Postma came close to securing victory when he locked Abdullah's arm, but the round ended just in time for Abdullah to escape defeat.
That's it. You got it.
In the second round, the fight resumed with another exchange of punches. Before long, Postma forced Abdullah into a clinch position again. This time, Abdullah was unable to escape the incredible Aikido lock applied by his opponent, sealing Postma's dominance.
That's it. You got it.
Lastly, we have a full contact match between an MMA fighter with a Muay Thai background and an Aikido practitioner. At the start of the duel, the MMA fighter adopted an aggressive strategy, launching powerful strikes. However, the Aikido master showcased remarkable reflexes and defensive techniques to neutralize the attacks. The Aikido master rarely used direct attacks, instead relying on evasion and locks to limit the MMA fighter's offense.
Антон пытается провести бросок, но Иван делает захват и валит его на пол.
At one point, the master skillfully redirected an attack and executed a throwing technique, bringing his opponent to the ground. Despite this, the MMA fighter displayed resilience, quickly rising to continue the match.
Иван пытается войти в ближний бой.
Realizing that his direct attacks were frequently countered, the MMA fighter adjusted his strategy. He began manipulating distance and launching strikes from different angles to outmaneuver his opponent. Using this approach, he aimed to target areas that made it more difficult for the Aikido master to execute locks or throws.